Today on CityCast Austin, it's the Friday News Roundup. I'm here today with multidisciplinary storyteller Mace Kerwick and executive producer Eva Ruth Moravec. To round up this week's news, we're going to talk about school vouchers, if Lockhart is becoming the new Austin, and where to watch the Super Bowl. It's Friday, February 7th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hey, Ruth. Hey, Mace.
Hey.
Hello. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We usually sing, Mace.
Oh, you usually sing?
Yeah, we usually do a little Friday song.
I don't know why. Uh-huh.
It's Friday. Gotta get down Friday.
Oh, wow. That was even better. Yeah, that was like
a real Friday song.
Yeah, Jesus. I got to step it up. So let's get into it. So the Texas legislative session just got started, but this week the Texas Senate passed its first bill, SB 2, which provides vouchers for private school tuition. It's one of Governor Greg Abbott's top priorities, but now the bill will have to go to the House and pass there. I understand things are a little less certain there. So, Eva Ruth, this is in your wheelhouse. I'm going to let you tell us all about it.
Yes, sadly, I can't stop watching that little Capitol building. So it'll be exciting now. We have to see what happens when this bill gets to the House. Abbott, this was one of his priorities last session also, and a special session, and then kind of just never ended. He really wants to get families taxpayer dollars to send their kids to private schools. And he even spent a lot of money primarying lawmakers who voted against the voucher bill in 2023. Basically, the gist of this bill is that right now it'll give families $10,000 a year per student in public taxpayer dollars to fund tuition at an accredited private school. If students with disabilities get $11,500 each, and there's also some money for homeschooling families. So now the House has, a lot more members than the Senate does. It also has like a rural-urban split. So I think that the urban-rural split is really over okay, these are taxpayer dollars. Why aren't they going to public schools that are for everyone? Because private schools don't have to accept everyone. They don't have the same requirements. And also, $10,000, how far does that get you in a private school? There are some cities like Houston that have so many private schools that there might be something for a lower price tag. But then you have rural areas where there are no private schools. So it's why should we be paying for somebody in Houston to go to school where they want to, So it's just lots of interesting stuff. The vote was very party lines. It was 19-12 in the Senate. There was one Republican who voted with the Democrats. And last thing I'll say is there was this quote from Austin Senator Sarah Eckhart: "Public dollars should fund public schools. They can call this whatever they want: school choice, parental freedom, vouchers, saving accounts. But the bottom line is the same. State leadership is starving our public schools by inviting private interests to the public trough." So, a little lighthearted topic to start us off. What are y'all's thoughts?
Listen. You want to go first, babe?
I think that this is a really aggravating situation that we find ourselves in. I'm from Austin, Texas. I grew up K through 12 going to public schools in AISD. And I think that anyone who is a graduate of Texas's public school system would love to reinterpret how that system maneuvers and operates through things. But I don't think this is the answer. And I think that we as Texans need to be very critical of the thought that's going into this. And I think that, Eva Ruth, a lot of what you touched on with the concern over the lack of regulations and requirements for private schools is paramount to this, because you have a lot of people in the public education system where that is their only option. They do not have the resources or the money or the ability to go to a private school. And we're already reducing budgets for public educational systems. I don't think that this is going to answer any of the inherent systemic inequalities that are already rampant throughout the state.
It just, I don't know. It looks like, for me, it feels like another power grab. It's like another way to control. If we can, underfund public schools some more, even more, and then get kids into these private schools that are heavily Christian based, heavily Bible thumping based, then it's just more control. Right. That's it. It just reeks of, okay, we're trying to control not just now, but the future. Like if we can catch kids when they're young, this has been happening for forever. But this feels like a calculated, like, oh no, we're thinking into the future. We're thinking about how we want to control the narrative of what people learn as they're coming up and growing up so that we can control who is going to be on our side in the future. That sounds very conspiracy theorist, but that's what it seems like to me. And to your point, like, who can afford $10,000? Seems like a lot of money when you're, middle income or broke or whatever, but it's a coupon. Most of the private schools tuition is like $20,000 a semester. So where are they supposed to get the rest of that money? It's, it's like, it's clearly not for everyone.
Yeah. I'm a child of the public school system too. And I even accessed school choice and went to a magnet school where I studied music specifically, so I think like when you hear the term school choice, I think that can mean a lot of different things. And what the proponents have been saying is like that parents should be empowered to send their kids to whatever school they want to. It shouldn't just be the one that they're zoned for.
Well, what they could do? Actually, they could just allow people to go to whatever public school they want to. Because we were homeschooled for a while. I was homeschooled and then we had to go to public school. And my mother did not like the public school that was in our district or our zone or whatever. So we just used my aunt's address. Literally everybody in my family did that. We all lived in an area where the school wasn't great. And so we just used different addresses. And I'm sure there are people that still do that. So instead of like being like, oh, you can go to this very expensive private school, just make it to where people can go to other schools.
Yeah.
Or invest more money.
Or that,
schools.
And they could do that at the same time. And this could be a session where we see that. I mean, there's a ton of extra money. That would be great, right?
If we're going to be equitable, sure.
If we're going to be equitable. But my question, this is something I was curious about because we have different circles of friends on this show today. So is this something that y'all hear about from your friends, like thinking about where their kids are going to go to school or not wanting to be a part of the public school system?
Yeah. I have a very good friend who's in her 50s and her daughter's in middle school. And they went through a very interesting process last year where they figured out that a very small private school was the right choice for her daughter. And I think that was something that she really struggled with on like a molecular level about whether or not that was the right choice. And I think a lot of parents right now are faced with that issue. I think ever since 2020, the educational environment has just been hellacious. And you have abysmal funding, you have teachers who are overworked and underpaid, and you have, I hate to say this, but the population is only rising. We have had historic growth in human population throughout our lifetimes. And yet somehow the answer is to cut funding for the youngest humans out there. Like, make it make sense.
Right. Exactly. I have a couple of friends whose kids are getting into the preteens, middle school, all that good stuff. And one of my closest friends, she had to work to keep her kids in this like charter school that she loved. They like taught them different languages. It just all kind of like really, really cool stuff. They taught them life skills in addition to like, regular curriculum. And she was in love with this school. And it just got pricier and pricier and pricier. So she just had to like figure out ways how to, keep her kids there. And so it was really stressful for her because the education that her kids were getting, she felt really strongly about. And they were getting the kind of education and skills even, honestly, that she wanted her kids to have. And then not for nothing, one of her children is, non-binary, and they go back and forth between what they want to be and who they want to be. And that school was an environment that felt safe and loving for Rune. And so that also is some of it too. I think sometimes we get into just like the environment feels safer sometimes when you have queer kids or trans kids or anything like that. So that's also another part of it. So so I hear them talking about it, but none of my friends have talked to me about the vouchers or anything like that. I think it's because I'm the single friend with no kids.
With
or
no
not single,
kids, yeah.
But I'm the friend with no kids. And so I think sometimes when we hang out, they're like, we don't want to talk about our kids.
Yeah.
Anything but my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we might be hearing more from our friends with kids these days about this stuff as it kind of moves, because it's getting a little more real the more steps it gets through at the Capitol.
Oh, yeah, because I think they tried to pass through a few years ago and it died in the House. So this is a very pivotal moment of assessing, okay, it seems like it is going to go through this time. And it seems like by 2027, there's going to be this very real impact that it's going to have on the education quality that so many students in Texas have access to. And that scares me. We have a state that is very diverse, that is very expansive, and there are a lot of kids who are currently getting educated right now.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of my friends are out in Dripping Springs or Wimberley. They're moving out in smaller areas as well. So this is definitely going to come up for them. Like, what kind of education is my kid going to get in these neighboring towns even? So speaking of neighboring towns.
Oh, dang.
Oh.
That was so sneaky.
Thanks.
Amazing.
So we've talked before on the podcast about musicians and artists struggling to stay in Austin. We've also pointed out the irony of it all too, that people are drawn to live in the city because of its art and music scene, and we're the music capital of the world. And the same people are sort of displacing the artists and musicians that they've moved here that they love. So this week, Culture Map had an interesting story about whether Lockhart is taking over as the live music capital of the world. And let me tell you, the scream I scrumped when I saw that, and that is not my saying. I got it off the TikToks. But when I saw that, I was like, what? Don't come in my yard trying to take my, don't do that. Don't do that. But, it's a valid argument. So 1991, Austin became officially the self-proclaimed live music capital of the world. I think we have it trademarked or something crazy like that.
Yes,
based on
based
it
is
on
official.
It's ours. Based on venues per capita, but Lockhart home prices are literally half of what Austin's are. So people are moving to Lockhart. I know several friends that have moved to Lockhart.
Yes.
Yeah, Dewey Brooks, the chairman of the nonprofit Austin Creative Alliance, kind of brought up this question and made a comment at an Urban Land Institute Austin session called How to Preserve Austin's Cultural Identity.
He's like, it's too late.
It's too late. It's too late.
They're all in
lost
Lockhart.
Yeah, they're all in Lockhart. And so here's my issue though. Please, anybody listening, don't send me any ugly emails. I love Lockhart. I think Lockhart is great. There's 15,000 people there that live there at last count or something like that. They have great venues. They have a fantastic art culture. Yes. And of course, we know they got barbecue on lock. I'm not downplaying Lockhart. It is a great place. They got venues called the Pearl, the Lounge Sports Bar, Commerce Hall, Little Trouble, Load Off Fannies, which I love that, and Old Pal Texas Tavern. Now, when we start talking about home housing costs, yes, child, yes, it's half of what it costs to pay here. I get moving. But when we start talking about music, their venues predominantly play the same music. It's like Americana, singer, songwriter, country, Texas blue. You know what I'm talking about? That like hybrid of like a person in a cowboy hat and a guitar. And I'm not shitting on that. But there's no diversity in that. You know what I mean? And the only place that I was able to find, and everybody please feel free to correct me, that was different was El Rey Tavern or El Rey something. And it's got Tejano and other stuff. So I'm just saying, I don't know if we're quite at taking over Austin's live music title quite yet. Because it's real
a challenge. Shots are being fired.
Shots are being fired. I don't know. Maybe what do y'all think? Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
So I think that Lockhart, just by its very nature, should not be taking Austin's title as the live music capital of the world. I do know a lot of artists and creatives who have moved out there over the last few years. And I think it's because Lockhart offers something that Austin used to be able to offer people, which is that you can pay less money on your rent and you can spend more time working on your artistry, which is very important for an artist to be able to do. I mean, my God, I wish that I could work less myself and spend more time on my movies and, you know, my shows and the other things that I have going on. The problem is that Austin has more venues. Austin has larger venues, it has better venues, and it has more diverse crowds to play for. So I'm sorry, but 512, we got to step up our game. We can't keep losing minorities and creatives just because we've become like a monolith for tech and I don't know, whatever else is going on here.
Mostly tech.
Mostly tech, yeah.
Tech and construction, that's pretty much it, you know, playing for those crowds.
And those crowds are tough to play for.
Yeah.
We've talked quite a bit about this with Queertown, and I think it is a badge of honor when you have an audience member leave your show. At this point, like, I don't need to be playing for everyone.
Listen, you know what? It's so funny that you say that. Years ago, we started our Fat Bottom show and, you know, we came in hot. Great MC, bearded, you know, mask presenting person, glitter in the beard, fabulous, corset on, came out the gate hot. Hey, what's up? You're like, blah, blah, blah. And you just see almost like half a row of people get up and just like walk out from like the third row. And I was like in the wings watching like, oh shit. And he goes, that's okay. You can go. We have your money and there are no refunds. And it's like, I was like,
nice.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. And he said, he was like, I'm not here to perform for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So like, to your point, I think the only thing that Austin used to have going for it was just that. Like, it's your audiences were diverse, and we still have that, but the audiences were diverse. The offering was diverse, and you could see it everywhere because it wasn't so hard to find a venue. We have a lot of venues here, but they are so expensive and so inaccessible for, like, I would say more than half of the creative population.
Yeah.
So I get why people are going to Lockhart because of access. Now, was I able to find any diversity when I did my research? I was not.
Well, and it could be because of exactly this, that their audiences are the honky tonk, you know, stereotypical Americana music that you're seeing is a reflection of who's there sitting in the bars. But I have gone to Lockhart for a First Friday. Mm-hmm. I will say it was a ton of fun. I was more drawn to the art than to the music. Except for my good friend played a show there that, you know, of course I'm drawn to her music. But for the rest of them, it is like, I did really enjoy the art. There's tons of galleries right around the square. It's very small town feeling. It's very like, what people still feel sentimental about with Austin, that it used to be like that too.
Yeah.
I'm also not really convinced that Lockhart is stealing our thunder quite yet, especially because the city cares about fixing these issues with equity. You know, there's still work to be done, but like, we are putting money towards, you know, cultural arts programs. I heard this week that people were speaking before the Arts Commission about how they wanted more grants in smaller amounts that would go to more people, because 500 is more than zero. You know, if I'm not getting anything, then 500 is at least going to help me do something. So I don't know. I hope that Austin can keep this momentum going and maybe see this as a challenge.
Well, I also think that Lockhart has its own thing. That's the other thing. They have a better art scene than we do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have more galleries that are more accessible. They have great little antique shops that you can go and shop in. And then the barbecue, like, let them be who they are. Let them have their thing. They do not have to be like the next Austin. They don't have to be that because they're their own thing. I'm really curious too. I'm wondering, because I only know of one queer couple that have moved to Lockhart.
I know of a few queers who have moved down
that was
there.
going to be my next question, because the queer couple I know are country queers. And so they, they love it. They fit
sense.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Ice Cream Makers, but it's a artist like compound that exists between here and Lockhart, and it's amazing. And you can get residencies, and it's very DIY. But I think that's the kind of like innovation, if you want to call it that you can get near Lockhart, where you can just buy land and you can build something, and it can feel so much more I don't know, custom and how you want it to be than what you can do in Austin, where, you know, we're all vying for the same stages and there's limited resources for that sort of ideation period that I think is so important to being an artist in this day and age.
That sounds awesome. I love that.
I love that.
So I feel like, you know what, at the end of the day, now, I mean, people are like, just be like, oh, we're going to just go take a day trip and like, you know, tool around the city and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, you know, as if they're going to Pflugerville or Round Rock.
So, Nikki, I just did a day trip down to Lockhart. My good friend Jenny J is there. She's a photographer, and she owns, or she's one of the owners of Rapa here in Austin, but has moved to Lockhart to really just kind of focus on her own photography. And it was great. Like, I really appreciated it. And she's in this amazing space that you could never have access to in Austin, where it's both like her house and her studio, and there's like tall ceilings, a lot of natural light. It was perfect for taking photos.
Amazing.
But what she was telling me is that Lockhart does not want to become the offshoot of Austin. The people there are very specifically, I don't know if they've coined this yet, but it feels similar to, you know, don't California my Texas, or don't Dallas my Austin. It feels like don't Austin my Lockhart.
Oh man, I
you
love it.
You have just made me so happy. Yes, Lockhart. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, I love that.
They don't need Austin telling them, "Hey, you're trying to become the next Austin."
No. And what Jenny was telling me, and this is like, you know, I haven't done research to substantiate this, but I would believe it wholeheartedly. She was saying that people down there are getting really angry about the fact that people from Austin are buying houses and turning them into Airbnbs.
Oh,
which, like,
dang.
Austin's gonna Austin. Why are we this way? I do not know. But hey, like, let that like town become funky. Let it do its thing. It doesn't need to be Austin, though.
Let it do it. And I'm so glad to hear you say that, because it's like taking a day trip to Lockhart is on my list. For those of you that don't know, March is my birthday month. The day is irrelevant. I take the whole month. That's just what I do. That's what I've always done. I don't expect anybody to celebrate with me, but that's what I do. And during my birthday month, that is on my list, to just go to Lockhart at the like early in the day, in the morning, and spend the entire day there. And I'm super excited about it. Like, I'm really excited about that. That's something, because I want to see for myself. So, of course, I will let y'all know how it goes, because I'm sure I'm going to have a great freaking time.
Yeah, we want to hear all about it.
And I might spend the whole weekend there. I don't know. Who knows? But, you know.
At an Airbnb.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of Airbnbs.
Well, my friend has I might just go show up at my friend's house and be like, whoops, it's too late for me to drive home. Can I sleep on your couch with your ducks and chickens?
Perfect. With your ducks and chickens.
You know, I like to be getting into shenanigans. Speaking of shenanigans, so now we got to talk about what's going on in Austin this weekend. So what do y'all got going on this weekend?
Yeah, I'm grabbing dinner with friends. I'm working on a script right now, so I'm kind of excited to like dive into that. Honestly, this is like an interesting weekend because it's the like midpoint between my boyfriend and I going to see Verdi's Requiem at the Austin Opera, and then Valentine's Day.
Y'all like your drama.
Oh yeah, no, Requiem was amazing, and the opera really. I'd actually never been inside the Long Center, so
Really?
that felt like a really big kind of like long in the works thing. So I'm just hanging this weekend.
That's awesome.
I love that. I too am just hanging. I was telling Ruth, I'm getting my hair done on Saturday, and that is a 4-hour ordeal. So like, like I'm not going to be in the mood to be doing nothing. Once I get my hair done, I'm going to go home and put a hot compress to loosen them braids up, and I'm out for the night. But on Sunday, y'all know I love my market. So on Sunday, I'm going to go to Heritage Vintage Market. It's at Springdale Station, and they're going to have like 20 vintage clothing and jewelry vendors, tarot readings, and music by DJ Sue Purr, and it's, y'all, this is funny. Cute. Y'all know I love cute names. It's Sue, S-U-E, and then Purr, P-U-R-R. I love that name. I don't know who this person is, but that is very clever. So Sunday, I'm going to get out and, of course, go to a vintage market because I'm 87 years old.
Well, I mean, they're here. It's one of the things we have a lot of in Austin.
I love them. I can't get enough of them, y'all. I'm addicted. It's a little bit.
And it's better than buying new crap. So, no. Yeah. I mean, the grannies know what they're doing. I'm just saying. Speaking of grannies, I will be... Some of my cousins and I are going to be learning how to play mahjong tonight. I've never played. I'm very drawn to them. I love the size. They're like big tiles, like dominoes on steroids that almost look like little cakes or something. Like, it's a very interesting aesthetic. And I don't know if you slam them down like you do with dominoes, but
no. I play mahjong online every day.
What?
Every day.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like
it's
I'm
so
learning so much
it's,
right now because
it is...
I've never heard of this term. Mahjong?
Mahjong. Okay, it's a Chinese game. Okay. And they're tiles and they're like a bazillion rules. The
mahjong online that you play is so far from the I learned it's so far from the original like game. But the original game is really cool. Like you set them all up and it's essentially a matching game, but you can take matches from who you're playing against. It goes kind of fast. And so you're just like matching and sliding.
There was a story I just read about like people. This is a new thing that people are doing together is like getting together and playing games, learning games together. It's like a new, the like anti-online trend that's happening.
Yes.
So, I mean, who better to learn with than my cousin? So I'm excited about that. But there is good stuff going on at Antone's is having a Mardi Gras bash. There's also ACL Live Community Day is on Saturday, where you can go for free and tour ACL Live. And then, of course, for those who are partaking, Sunday's the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team, the Kansas City Chiefs, playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. Kendrick Lamar is doing the halftime show. Game is at 5:30. So there's lots of cool spots. You can watch that in town if that's your thing, or if you want to stay at home and be able to watch the commercials like me, then that's what you can do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if the Super Bowl is your jam, it's being played at Victory Lap, Meanwhile Brewing, Blue Owl Brewing, Dainty Dillo, Corner Bar, Punch Bowl Social at the Domain, and I believe the Cabana Club is also going to play it. Listen, I have a complicated relationship with football in general because I love it because it's something that my father and I did from the time that I was a kid. Like football Sunday was a thing with us. I would help him take his boots off. We would sit down. I'd get his beer. We'd all watch football. It was like a thing that we did. It's ingrained in me. But I also hate it, and I hate them, and I hate the NFL, and I hate the Super Bowl, and I hate everything they stand for. It drives me crazy. But I love Kendrick Lamar and I love commercials. And so And I love parties. And so typically what I've done in the past is I just hop around Super Bowl parties at people's houses. And I don't ever stay. I'm just like, hey, girl, hey. Oh, we watch this commercial. Okay, bye. Like that way I'm not.
You make an appearance.
I make an appearance and then I go sit my butt at home. And that's it. And I take, like, I like snacks. It's hard. I like snacks.
And if you need snack ideas, check our newsletter, Hey Austin, where you will find a CityCast Austin menu of amazing things to eat at a Super Bowl party or just at home by yourself.
Or at home by yourself.
We don't judge.
Yeah. My friend has a drinking game.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, my friend has a Super Bowl drinking game because she also hates the Super Bowl, but she loves the commercials. She has this drinking game. Every time a commercial comes on and you see a washed out, and I put that in quotations, a washed out actor or celebrity, you got to drink. And you would be surprised.
I gotta say, I've already seen the When Harry Met Sally Hellman's mayonnaise spot, and I think that you would be drunk by the end of that one alone.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Oh, no. The Hellman's mayonnaise commercial.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Oh, my God. That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible.
I just hope it's like a more of a laughter year, because some years the Super Bowl commercials can just like make you cry one after the other. And I'm like, I get it. Y'all are good at commercials.
Do y'all remember the Budweiser commercials where it was just four dudes like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Let's get back to that where it's just this ridiculousness.
You know what I need less of is like Mr. Peanut dying. Like that really, I don't think the universe was ready for that. I think that was a very dark moment for all of us.
What?
Yeah, that was the year that Planters birthed Baby Nut, and we got to see Mr. Peanut grow up over the course of the next year.
No. Baby.
Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. Damn you, NFL. Nothing is sacred.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I haven't forgiven y'all for what y'all did to Colin Kaepernick. Now you killing off Mr. Peanut?
Jeez. What else?
Oh, my God.
Insanity.
This is what I'm saying, y'all. Complicated feelings. I love the camaraderie. I love being with my friends. I love snacks. Yeah. I do not love predominantly brown men getting concussions, or any man getting concussions. Anybody getting concussion. There's so many concussions, y'all.
Seriously.
But Kendrick Lamar is going to kill it. And
yes.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't give a crap about the Super Bowl, we have given you other options that you can get into. I agree with you, Mace. This is kind of one of those chill weekends where not a lot's happening, but we got to ramp up for the Valentine's Day craziness that's happening in the city. So,
I know so many people who secured 10 p.m. reservations for Valentine's Day. I'm like, you still have time. You can still figure out something else.
10 p.m.?
I don't know. I heard that from two people, and I'm
Nobody
like, we are a week away, y'all.
At 10?
No.
Mm-mm. Do you know how mad Nicole would be if I was like, hey, babe, we're going to dinner at 10 p.m.?
I feel like what time is first dinner?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was. She'd be like, is it second dinner? Or
Yes.
Y'all have a week. Find something fun to do.
Just make dinner at that point and eat at a normal time. It's as romantic, I promise.
Oh, my gosh. Well, y'all, happy Friday.
Good luck, everyone.
Yeah, we hope that you do great things this weekend and be safe and have a great weekend. It's going to be beautiful. Again, they're, dangling a false spring in front of us until, weather goes to crap again. So get out into the city, have fun. Mason, Eva Ruth, thank you so much for rounding up the news with me this week. This was so fun.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was great.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. Our executive producer is Eva Ruth Moravec. Our producers this week are Rishi Bajeko, Elizabeth Kama, and Zoe Culkin. And I'm your host, Nikki Devon. Our Hey Austin newsletter editor is Kelsey Bradshaw. Music is by Nelson Valente Aguilar of Como Las Movies. And hey, do you want to work with us? Because we are hiring a producer. If you're interested, you'll find a link to the job posting in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.